cost of living crisis or inflation or recession as any other part of the world. And in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about cost of living in New Zealand and how much money do you need to be able to live here. Because it's super crucial to understand a cost of living of the country where you're moving to, so you can estimate how much money do you need to make or to save to be able to have a comfortable lifestyle here. Because to be honest, a cost of living can be quite shocking in New Zealand. It's different to many other countries. It can be more expensive than in your country, or it can be cheaper than in your country, so today you will figure out. Firstly, I need to emphasize that the cost of living in New Zealand ranges a bit. So Auckland is the most expensive city, then you have Wellington, and the cheapest city is Christchurch. And of course, the rural area is always cheaper, but if you want to live in a city, go to Christchurch. It's the most affordable one. So rent will be your biggest expense in New Zealand, and it will take up a big chunk of your salary or your savings, because rents are very high here. So if you want to rent a room, if you want to share with someone a house or an apartment, you can count with at least $200 per week. Just a short notice, in this video I'm gonna be talking about New Zealand dollars, and I will just say dollars, and you can later estimate how much is in your currency. Here everybody pays in a week, so you pay weekly, not monthly as probably you used to. So I'm also talking about weekly prices. $200 per week for a room, or if you want to rent a house, a typical 2-bedroom house will be rented for about $500 per week, but it can range from 500 to 700. And in areas like Queenstown or Wanaka, the rents could be around 1,000 New Zealand dollar per week. So rents also range pretty a lot, depending on region and in the city. In Auckland you will pay more than in other cities, and in Christchurch you will pay significantly less. And cities like Queenstown are just exception because it's pretty touristy place and rents are there very high and houses are in high demand, so that's all self-explanatory. So because rents are so expensive, many people decide to share houses, so they just rent a room. If you are young and you are single, that could be a good option for you, but if you have a family, you of course need to have a house and you will pay quite a lot of money for rent. So you need your partner also be working, so you have 2 incomes, because if you have only 1 income, it could be pretty difficult to rent a good house in a good location. Yeah, that could be an issue. So the second item on your list is food. Food is also expensive in New Zealand, so basically most of your money will go for rent and for food. I would recommend that you budget at least $200 per week for a person for food if you cook at home. Of course, if you like eat at home sandwich and you just eat all your meals outside, you don't have to budget 200, you can budget $50 is okay. But if you cook at home, like I do, I mostly eat at home healthy vegetables and proteins, so I budget at least 200 per week. But according to New Zealand statistics from 2021, an average single person spends between $100 to $120 per week for food, and also a family spends about $250 per week as a family of 4. So this is statistical data. You can estimate how much you want to spend, of course, depending on your diet preferences, but also if you cook at home or if you prefer to eat out, because eating out also prices, so it would be cheaper, of course, to cook at home. If you want to eat out, the average meal in a restaurant or like in a coffee shop or in a cafe would cost $25. You can get a cheaper meals like sandwiches and just some smaller meal which can go for $6 to $10, but it's more like a bakery stuff, you know, it's not like a restaurant meal, of course. If you go for fast food, it's around $10. If you go for breakfast, it's a bit cheaper than the main meal, it will be like $12 to $20. If you take a coffee, of course everybody loves coffee, the coffee is amazing and you should take coffee here like every day. Coffee is not that expensive. It's actually like $5 to $6, and it's pretty good. It's very good. If you like beer is a bit pricey, I guess, if you compare it to many other places. It's around $10. Even if you buy beer in supermarket, it's around $5-6. So I would say, if talking monthly, you should budget at least $800 for food, and as a family it would be probably more like twice more, yeah. And if you eat out, you should budget, of course, much more. Food and eating out can be pretty expensive here, and is pretty expensive here. Just also to add some information about food, currently New Zealand is in a cost of living crisis, sort of, or inflation or recession, as any other part of the world, I guess. And food prices have been on the rise since December 2021. So if you look at December 2021 and today, it's like February 2023, for example, vegetables and fruits, the prices for vegetables and fruits have increased by whopping 23%. It's pretty shocking, but like veggies and fruits here are very expensive if you compare it to other countries, because the tomatoes, like kilogram of tomatoes, cost $10. It's like average. One cucumber, it's $3-4. Okay, like fruits like apples and just bananas, I don't know, they're like regular fruits, are not very expensive. It's about $5 to $6. But the other fruits could be very pricey. Many fresh vegetables, especially those are not like potatoes, I mean the vegetables which are fresh and juicy, they are pretty expensive. Like a bell pepper, you know, you pay for bell pepper for $3 per one, like one bell pepper. Like, for this money I can get like 5 kg in some countries. Like, and here you pay one for one. Yeah, fresh vegetables unfortunately are pretty expensive, which is pretty sad. So let's jump to next category of the main expenses, is the car, because you will need to get a car in New Zealand. And the big pro that cars are not very expensive. You will buy a car, you can buy a car for 2,000, you can buy a car for $500, but I would suggest you budget at least 3,000 for a okay car and up to like 15,000 for a better one. So it will be your initial expense, you will need to invest for it. And I will make a different video about cost of moving to New Zealand. It's more a cost of moving because you need to acquire the car, right? I'm not counting the price of the car, but the monthly cost for a car, you can estimate about $300 per month, dollars, depending on how far you drive. 1 liter of petrol is between $2 and $3. So the petrol is not like super expensive, but you will also need to have an insurance, which the cheapest one, insurance, is $400 per year, so you divide it for months. I got an insurance for $750 or something, so it's a comprehensive insurance. It's pretty pricey. It's more than $50 per month, but generally you can budget between $200 to $300 per month for your car, for everything. Next, super important, is of course mobile and internet. Internet for your phone is very expensive here, I don't know why, but the data, it's like you get 2 gigabytes, which is nothing, for $25-30. So when you buy a SIM card, it usually comes with 2 gigabytes and some minutes, maybe 100 minutes and 100 SMS, and then you will top up wherever you need. Like I already topped up, like after 2 days I need more gigabytes, and it's again $25. So you have to like control your expenditure, control your surfing online, okay? So if you want to get unlimited data, like for mobile, it's about $50 to $80. So it's pretty expensive. And about internet, for home internet, the cheapest could be $40, which is like limited usage. If you want like unlimited, it's between $70 and $80. That's per month, not per week. And also for mobile data, that's per month. So you have to budget for this as well, because you cannot go out without an internet, right? Also, to add to rents, I forgot electricity, because you most likely will have to pay this separately to your rent, like electricity, water. For electricity, the average bill is $150 per month. But in the winter it could go up to 250 because you will use heat pump and whatever you use. So to sum it up, how much money do you need as a single and how much money do you need as a family per month? So I would say as a single you will need at least $3,000 to $4,000 wherever you live. You can live in anywhere, but in Auckland you will need to have more. So this is about 2,000 and 2,500 US dollars. This is like a minimum, otherwise you will struggle here. As a family you need between 5,000 and 6,000, so it's about twice that much as a single to rent a house, kind of manage your living expenses, but not to live lavishly, you know, or I don't know, to afford savings, because you probably will not save much with this income. But according to statistics, in Auckland, as a single, you will need at least $4,500 per month. And as a family of 4, you will need around 8,000. So it's significantly more in Auckland than in overall New Zealand. That's why it's recommended to live in cheaper places if you are able to get a job there, because salaries are not ranging that much. And for example, in Christchurch, you can live as a single pretty much comfortable on between $2,500 and $3,000. And as a family, you can live on around 6,000 per month. It's also important to understand salaries here, because you will probably work here, so you will have a New Zealand salary. Minimal wage currently at this time of the year, because it's probably will be increased somewhere later, in February 2023, is $21. It's per hour. You will get at least $21, right? When talking about average salary for an average worker, it's about $58,000. New Zealand dollars. If you count this to US dollar, it's about 36,000 US dollars. Generally speaking, the majority of people in New Zealand earns between 40 to 70 or 60, 65 New Zealand dollars per month, which isn't a lot, and you have to keep it in mind because salaries in New Zealand are not amazing unless you're working in a high-paying field or position or in management. Or in Auckland, salaries are overall higher than in other regions. Yeah, then you can count with a higher salary, but overall, unfortunately not. For instance, in Auckland, if you want to have a more or less comfortable life, as a single you will need to earn at least 70,000 per month, and as a family you will need to earn $140,000 per month, which is pretty difficult if you are a single earner. But if you have your partner also working and you both earning around 70,000, it's manageable. But it can be difficult to find a job and also to work full-time if you have kids and etc. You really need to think where you're gonna be living and how much money you can earn, because if you are living in Auckland and if you're earning average, you will struggle to pay for rent and you will have to share your apartment or your house with someone. That's the reality of New Zealand. To end this video on a good note, I hope guys that was helpful. If you have any questions, just comment below. Also, please go to my website. It's called simplenewzealand.com, where I have detailed articles about living in New Zealand, cost of living, salaries, how to move here. So you have all these details on your hands written down, because it could be hard probably to digest when I'm just talking here. But you can read it on my website, and you're always welcome to subscribe to this channel because more videos are coming. Also check out my Instagram. I will post a link below. You can message me there in the direct messages if you want to connect or share your story or anything. I'm open, and I will see you next time.